You, sir. Thank you. Good
So
afternoon.
thank you for hosting this. Over to you. Please.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
I'll just share the screen. I think today's session, I'll just let me just start the slideshow
Hello,
here.
everybody. Hi, Dhruv.
Hi.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Good.
And good evening to all the participants who have joined in. Thank you for this time on a Friday evening. I will just share the PPT. Just 1 second. So PPT is visible for everybody.
Yes, Dhruv.
Uh, I hope the screen is visible. Sorry, I'm just checking. I can't see the slideshow on my
Yes,
end.
yes.
Okay. So thank you all for the time today. And one of this the topic today is slightly different from the ones we've covered before. Obviously, the ones before have usually included. I think the screen share is becoming a problem. Just give me a second. I'll just resolve the screen share. So obviously, the topic today is slightly different from the topics that we've usually gone through, and the reason for that was obviously one is a lot of members do realize that I'm very passionate about the whole tools that have come because of AI, how to use them, how to leverage them for regular business. Obviously, we as a firm and my firm and me specifically, we've been experimenting with these tools a lot. We've tried to incorporate them in our workflow, and we've come up with certain use cases which we believe have universal acceptance in terms of you being business owners being always strapped of time, requiring a higher ROI on the number of hours you spend on a particular activity. So we believe that these tools will actually yield and benefit all the members in multiple ways. So with that being said, the whole point of the seminar, which I had initially communicated the topic as AI and automation of financial statements, I thought over it a bit, and then I came up with a slightly more apt topic, which would actually get all the business owners here or the promoters here more interested, is AI for business growth. Now, in when we're talking about how to leverage these tools, what we have observed is adopting an AI first approach, and that has yielded a lot of benefits to us in terms of how to approach a particular process. For example, if we're approaching a process where we believe that anything is happening manually, we are telling our persons who are working with us, our stakeholders, our employees, our ecosystem entirely, customers, vendors, to please think of each process from an AI first perspective. Sometimes I find myself doing something manually, which if I would have thought from a typical AI first perspective, it would have actually resulted in a lot of benefits, only to realize it later. From a simple, from a simple preparation of a particular document to automating a particular workflow, what it has allowed is for people who have higher agency, people who take the initiative to get the work done. It allows you to be 3x, 4x, 5x more powerful. It doesn't just it's not just limited to the tools that you use, for example chat gpt, notebook, lm, ai studio, etc. It's more relevant to a problem solving approach. So whenever you're faced with any problem, it's better to think of an ai first approach. That's the first thought. The second thought with which I wanted to start this session, and it might sound a little boring, but is something which I had read a little while back. I'll just stop to share and probably just start my video. Is something which I had read a little while back. Is that what we see as knowledge work in the sense what we see as working in front of a computer using a mouse or a keyboard, we will see that part being completely automated by AGI, ASI, whatever you want to call it, over the next 5 years. So by 2025, 2030, we're looking at massive automation of knowledge work. Then what it went on to say was that when you're talking about automation of manual work, so when we're talking about robots, etc., we will be limited by the physical materials which are available. For example, copper, tungsten, rare earth metals, they are not available right now. So when the second wave of AI replacing or automation replacing everyone will come, that will have a lag. So for that period, physical work will obviously carry a lot of benefits. So For people who are sedentary, etc., it's obviously coming as a shock. But knowledge work completely outsources and automates itself by, let's say, 2030. Physical work will be restricted by being taken over by robots because of the scarcity of rare earth metals. It will, for example, today we have good battery technology, but mining rare earth metals requires a lot of effort. So the graph, and this actually was predicted by O1, which is the latest chat GPT model itself, which predicted this flow and which made a lot of sense to me. So, with that being said, and not wasting further time, what we are going to cover in this session, and I'll just share the screen again. What we are going to be covering in this session is obviously one, latest developments in terms of what tools we are seeing, what are the new innovations in the tools, etc. That's one. The second would be practical use cases. Now, this is something which I have always maintained that in past webinars I want to cover. Today we'll be covering use cases, actual use cases of what we see helps us in ChatGPT. It might be very minor thing as reconciling two items, or it just might be automating a particular document that you create all the time. For example, a purchase order which your team always needs to reformat. We'll understand how these tools can help us automating basic practical use cases, and we will do a live demonstration of the same. In this use case, I would also want to cover a specific use case covering automation of data, extraction of data from Tally, uh, and seeing how to interpret that data quickly for management and for your accounting and accounts team. Moving on, what we see, I hope everyone's muted. In terms of the first tool, which has seen a lot of innovations recently, is Notebook LM. And let me share my entire screen here and walk you through what we're doing. So, what has Notebook LM? What is Notebook LM firstly? And I'll come to the use case over here. Notebook LM basically is a tool which is an RAG tool. And for people who are not previously apprised, there have been certain improvements in Notebook LM. How it can help you, we'll walk through the next 5 minutes. Notebook LM allows you to enter some sources. So you can open Notebook LM. Let's start from step one. Let's create a new notebook. A notebook is basically a source of data. For example, you have YouTube videos, you have your PDF documents, you have your PPT presentations, and you want all of them to be collated in one place. And then you want to access that data, ask questions from it, generate a podcast from it. So let us understand how we can use it. First step would be that if we already have some data which we would want to use. So for this, we're taking a dummy data. We have I'm assuming that we are a value-added reseller. We are an OEM or a value-added reseller. We have our balance sheets for your organizations. For example, you have your 3 years balance sheets. Let's enter this data temporarily in Notebook LM and see what all use cases or what all innovations we can draw from it. So as business owners, sometimes you struggle with getting some insights into your financial data, which you would want to, and you would want to have quick 24/7 access to it. So step one is I'm going to choose a file. I'm going to take the Reddington's balance sheet. Reddington and Ingram is a very commonly known company here, I'm pretty sure. And we're going to take Reddington's balance sheet and we're going to add it to this data. And now what this does is that it will extract all of the relevant insight from Reddington's balance sheet and give me standard what is it. Now my first question is, what has been my sales growth in terms of revenue over the past 2 years? The advantage of using Notebook LM as a tool is that it will limit itself to the sources which are already in the data. So I can see that 31st March 2024, my revenue was 41,000 crores. 2023 was 35,000 crores. This represents a growth of approximately 16.65%. So for example, if I am going to a meeting with a banker or a potential investor, I need quick insights from my data. I can easily host 2 to 3 years balance sheet in Notebook LM and then run all the relevant queries from it. What are my major expense items?
Dhruv, what is the format you have loaded? I mean,
So
this
this is
document
standard
is.
balance sheet. Let me just share my entire screen for now. Just one second. It will be easier then. Okay, here is the It's the balance sheet, simple, retrieved. It can be your signed balance sheet, it can be your unsigned PDF balance sheet. I have just downloaded this balance sheet from the Reddington website. So no modification required. Bus apni 3 years ki balance sheet, just put it in this. You want to make a net worth certificate, you want to make a statement of how much your net worth has moved, how much your expenses has moved, etc. All of that, you just dump it over here. So now moving on to the next example. What are my major expense items and how have they varied over the 2 years? Let's see what kind of answer it's able to come up with. As I explained in my previous webinars also, if there are some YouTube videos or a YouTube playlist which you don't have the time to go through 2 hours, 3 hours of it, you can easily add the source here and add the link to the YouTube video also, and it will transcribe it. So here's it's come down. So my major heads of items are purchases of stock in trade, changes of inventory. For year ending 2024, it was 39,000 crores and it was 34,000 crores. So basically, my growth in terms of my purchases of stock in trade has grown by 15%. So now I have a quick statistic ready. My purchases have grown by 15%, and how has my revenue grown? It's grown by 16%. So overall, a healthy performance. I've been able to extract more profit while more profit or more bang for my buck. My return on equity has increased. Any specific question can be asked. For example, I am preparing my own balance sheet. I want to understand how Redington recognizes its revenue. I can easily recognize how does it recognize revenue, let's say from software sales or license sales. Does it even sell licenses? Now, obviously, this is something which we've covered in our previous sessions. This is a new practical use case, but what has been the improvement in this? Let me just come to it once we get the answer for this. The company generally recognizes revenue when an obligation is satisfied. Revenue is measured based on transaction price. Major categories are written as sale of products and services. Services include professional, technical, renewal of service packs, etc. It gives me quite a lot of guidance. And one more interesting thing is, for example, if I have my own balance sheet, I am growing in size. I want to compare my balance sheet to my peers, how well my peers are doing as compared to me. I can easily download a Reddington, Ingram, or I can download. I mean, I think this is a slightly something which I should not be saying in ISODA members group, but you can download your competitor's balance sheet from MCA, put it here, and see how your performance has fared in terms of the competitor's balance sheet. What are the items? How has their purchase contributed to the revenue? How is my purchase? So these figures can.
Do you also have any balance sheet format of Tally?
Uh, Sir, I'll just come to that. If you can just, I'll probably come to that. I'll be showing how to extract certain data from Tally. That I'll just cover in the second part of the session. I hope that's okay.
No, I'm talking about a balance sheet
Right.
printed from Tally, and that balance sheet is lying with us. Now I'm putting that PDF in.
Sir, any format, and I can tell you, but I've tried also. I don't have that format ready right now. Any
Okay.
format of balance sheet that you input here, it doesn't have to be the proper format. It can, for that matter, be a handwritten balance sheet also. The same insights can be extracted from that balance sheet also. So आप टैली से theoretically 2 साल के balance sheet PDF में निकाल लीजिए, right? Put it here. Ask your questions on how performance has been. I think that's something what you were looking for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this origin now, what has happened in what are the additions to Notebook LM is 2 additions. One addition is discover sources. Earlier you could just add sources, you were limited by your imagination. Now you can discover sources. I want to uh, understand the financial metrics of value added reseller companies, what all ratios they, and here I am not typing properly, and it doesn't even matter. In the GPD era, typing is out of vogue. Forget about it. You just have to make sense. Basically, what all ratios are used by them. Let's see what all services. Now it will search Google and add those sources here. So now it becomes more comprehensive. So profitability ratios, cash flow metrics, gross margin metrics. Now I've imported all of these. Now with this new knowledge, I can ask more things, and its knowledge has. So it's like a brain, right? First, in grade 1 it was taught only about the balance sheet. In grade 2 now I've added more sources in terms of gross margin kya hota hai, profitability ratios kya hota hai, working capital ratios kya hota hai. Is the company doing well from a working capital management perspective? That's my question, because now I have a working capital. Let's see whether it's able to go. Now, what it will do is it will analyze my balance sheet from a working capital management perspective, or साथ में it will take the insights from this presentation or the source it has extracted. This can also be any PPT which, for example, you visited a business coach and एक business coach ने आपको working capital management, now it's quoted, see here, is involved overseeing controlling company short-term assets, etc. It has calculated the ratios based on those understanding. So 3.85%, a ratio 1 or higher generally means company can meet its short-term obligation. So adding more insights, I was limited by my imagination. Now I'm not limited by my imagination. Any questions till here? Any in terms of adding? Now, second aspect, the second, sorry, actually another, this is not a new addition, but this is something which I have found very interesting, is also a mind map feature, although it's not appearing right now, but we'll be covering it in another notebook LM, which I'll be going to. Now comes the most interesting part. Earlier, we could generate an audio podcast in English from here, right? Now, if you go to settings and you change the output language, recently they've come up with 50 new languages. This was just 2-3 days back. Let's try with Hindi. Now I've changed the default language to Hindi. I will tell it to generate the conversation based on Hindi. And I did an experiment slightly before. What interesting thing here is that if you have a knowledge base of your company, right, your HR policies, your CRM policies, your new CRM plan, you can just put it in Notebook LM. And earlier the podcast would only come in English, so it would not democratize the access to your people. Now you can generate in 50 different languages, which includes Marathi, Bengali, etc. You can generate these podcasts, put it up on YouTube, tell your people that here is my standard operating procedure explained in audio in Hindi. So it can be a 5-10 minute podcast, they can listen to it, they will understand what's going on in the company. So your reach, your explainability of certain key policies, etc., can greatly be enhanced just merely by this. And now additional languages are also available. Once this is done, we'll come back to this. Till then, let's go back to the other notebook and see how mind maps work. What are mind maps? I hope everyone's able to see the screen. I had created this notebook beforehand only, just for ISODA's presentation. What here it is this is lead generation, CRM, customer relationship management. And I have already clicked on something known as a generate a mind map. What this does is कि ये टॉपिक को ऐसे मैप में तोड़ देता है. इट मेक्स इट ईजियर फॉर मी टू अंडरस्टैंड सी व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन. तो मैंने इसके अंदर CRM के बारे में डाला है. अब CRM के बारे में इट हैज़ समराइज द टॉपिक, सो क्विकली अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए फॉर अ न्यू टॉपिक इट कैन हेल्प मी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, व्हाट इज़ अ CRM के अंदर क्या क्या चीज़ें होती हैं. मैनेजेस कंपनी इंट्रैक्शंस, यूजर्स टेक्नोलॉजीज. व्हाट आर द की फीचर्स? सेल्स मॉड्यूल, डैशबोर्ड, सर्विस मॉड्यूल, मार्केटिंग मॉड्यूल, डील मैनेजमेंट, लीड जनरेशन. चूजिंग अ CRM में क्या क्या है? फॉर स्मॉल मिड साइज टीम्स, identify pain point, look at affordable options. So this is something which I have personally found very helpful if I'm exploring a new topic. For example, एक नया circular आया है, or if I want to understand a new taxation topic, I just dump it over here, see a mind map. So it gives me a structure कि यार मेरे को इसके बारे में कैसे सोचना है, and how to approach learning the topic. Coming back to our the conversation is still taking time. We'll come back to the notebook and use case. Any questions here? We had you can sources and can be added. So this sort of covers what you can do with notebook LN. Although this balance sheet example which I showed for analysis can be also done in ChatGPT and it will give you a better result, but यहाँ पे the control over the data is paramount. It will extract only the data which is in the sources. Hallucinations will reduce.
This mind map is for a particular document, is it?
Sir, whatever sources you put here, so I had put, let's say, 10 sources about CRM कि मेरी
Okay, got it.
it will generate based on that. So if I put 30 sources, it will count on 30. It will generate sort of a learning map based on all of these things. And then obviously you can आप mind map में जाके if you click on something which you want to understand more about, for example कि how do I identify a target audience. If you click on it, it will go to the relevant source and tell you how to identify a target audience. So This basically covers our insight into the notebook LM. So multilingual podcasts obviously explore sources from different areas. Coming to the next thing, AI Studio. A lot of people come up and say कि ChatGPT का paid subscription हम नहीं लेना चाहते, but we still want to understand what AI can do. See, what is happening right now is most of the people who are using ChatGPT, a non-paid version में, the model that they're using does not give them an insight into how powerful AI can be. For those people, if you just have a Gmail account, all you need to do, and you can just note this down, is go to ai.dev. Simple path, ai.dev. आपके पास एक simple Gmail account होना चाहिए, and you can use Google के सबसे latest, सबसे powerful, सबसे best models. How to use them? The interface has changed, obviously. The models have become powerful. यहाँ पे जाके there are two types of model to be selected. आप Gemini 2.5 में दोनों में से select कर लीजिए, Flash Preview, Pro Preview. These are one of the most powerful models, and what they allow you to do is, now let us take the same example and say कि based on मेरे को रेडिंगटन की बैलेंस शीट मुझे एक कंपैरेटिव परफॉर्मेंस की एक टेबल बनानी, विच मैं अभी उसमें नहीं देख पाया था नोटबुक LM में. So I will upload my file over here and I will tell it to analyze some key statistics or trends from this which a regular accountant cannot. The thing with this is free to use for a pretty high usage. It allows you to use Google's latest models which have just been released maybe 2-3 weeks back. आपको यहाँ पे जाके Gemini 2.5 में सिर्फ flash preview select करना है and you'll be able to see कि the model is thinking. It will do its entire thinking and then come up with the result. With thinking क्या होता है कि जो initially आपको आंसर नहीं मिलता है वो आंसर you're able to get with the thinking model. Let's see what kind of an output it's able to provide us. So here it's come up with certain key insights. Despite significant revenue growth, profit before tax grew only by 2.1% and after tax by 0.9%. This points to significant pressure on profitability. Now these kind of insights अगर आपने इसको GPT या notebook LM में डाला होता आपको ना मिल पाते. These kind of insights are available to you at AI Studio, which allows you to access the latest model of Google. अब इसमें what else can be done is, for example, if I want कि मेरे को सर्च करना है and I want to search the internet and get the results, यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा टैब है called grounding with Google search. If you can just click this, the next query that you put over here, it will search what is the performance in comparison to peers. Is it doing good? This is a VAR value added reseller company. What, and while it's saying while it's giving the answer, जो best use for AI Studio is what we've seen is कि there is you can put maximum or like 10-15 files. So for example, what we use it for sometimes is कि if there are invoices which have come जिसको हमारे को tabular format में चाहिए, for example credit card statement or a bank statement, it is able to go through it and OCR it pretty well. So now it has searched through Google and said कि based on analyze performance, it is analyze the performance metrics with Google search. So sorry, with Google search we'll have to actually start a new query and do it with Google search. Let's try a new query and see how we're able to use the other benefits. So for example, if I have some data, just 1 second, I'll just come back to this. So I think my data is on the other computer. What essentially you can do is कि यहाँ पे जाके whenever you're uploading a file, you can upload as many files in terms of the invoices and tell them कि I want a tabular table of the invoices with name, GSTN, narration and amount. What it will do is it will go through the entire PDF, OCR it for you and give you the result, and you can just copy and paste this table anywhere. So the AI Studio, definitely use it for advanced outputs. Use it for the latest Google models. And if you need a very complex query which needs a lot of thought, you can use Pro, and if not, use 2.5 Flash. So I'm just repeating 2.5 Gemini 2.5 यहाँ से जाके please use these models and you'll be able to see the benefit. The answers which you get will be significantly and pretty much better than the answers which you're getting from regular ChatGPT. Coming back to notebook LM model, we've been able to generate the podcast, and let's see how good it is it in Hindi, because we've already seen it in English. What I'll do is I'll just enable the mic from a different computer so that you're able to hear, because the mouse audio output from here might not come from my audio output might not come. Just give me a second.
यूरोप मतलब इटली, स्पेन, पुर्तगाल में काफी एक्टिव है। खुद को कहती है टेक इकोसिस्टम का एनेबलर मतलब सहायक।
हाँ, और दावा ये है कि ये टेक डेमोक्रेसी यानी तकनीकी लोकतंत्र को बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं, कंपनियों और लोगों को डिजिटल दुनिया में गाइड कर रहे हैं, ऐसा उनका कहना है।
Was everyone able to sort of get a glimpse on the kind of output of the podcast? I will just appreciate.
Not exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a sense of it, but it was just
Yeah, sorry, well, I was unable to coordinate the audio, but the language just democratizes access to it. I have a question in the chat window in terms of, can we generate a multiple choice question paper? Yes, we can. So if we have, for example, let's go back to our example of where we have the CRM data here. We can generate some multiple type choice questions, and it will be able to generate. So yes, that thing can be completely done. Although default language has been changed to Hindi, if I can change the language to English, essentially same thing can be done.
Please, 25 minutes.
Okay. Coming to the next is improvements in ChatGPT. Let me just switch off the audio from here. Next set of improvements are in ChatGPT, which is obviously the most used tool. One interesting thing that has been added to ChatGPT, and I'll just open my ChatGPT window here, is that now you can use the voice to text model directly in the browser. Just one second. जब आप ChatGPT की विंडो खोलते हैं, if you see over here there is a small button. So why I would suggest using this button over any other form of dictation, and this is also available in the app by the way, is that the model has the most accurate recognition of voice. It allows you to type very quickly. So one big improvement here is to definitely use this. Browser में पहले it was not available in the browser, you needed to have the app, but now even if you go to chatgpt.com, you can use this to write a long message and then tell GPT to improve this message. So for that matter, let's say if it works, I want to draft an email for requesting a payment reminder. Make sure that this payment reminder is polite in tone. I have already sent 2 to 3 reminders, but make sure it's still polite. So even with punctuation, even with my pauses, etc., it's able to do this. So I usually use this for converting voice to text, and it is almost real time. And then I can just say the customer name is ISODA member. Although technically with ISODA members I never have to chase for any payment, so no harm meant there. But yes, so it allows, so the follow-up process becomes quick. So if I need to just improve if I need to just improve the tonality of the mail, make it sound more aggressive, make it sound passive aggressive. So the lead time and the turnaround time basically reduces for me to get the thing which I wanted, rather than type it each time. The second improvement is our newer models and uses. Now this obviously is limited to paid users. Now my strong submission to everyone would be to get it costs 1500 1600 a month, but the paid subscription gives a massive ROI it is a cost worth investing in because it is it's an invaluable tool. अगर हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे, there are various different models. Don't just be limited to 4.0. If you have a query which you think requires a very complex thinking, thought, a detailed answer, please go for the O3, O4 mini, O4 high. Either of these models, they will think and give you the better result. फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपको कुछ बेसिक चीज़ समझनी है कि मैं इसको ऑटोमेट कैसे करूँ, उस प्रोसेस को मैं कैसे बेटर करूँ, सो अगर SOP बनाना है, सो यूज़ O3, यूज़ O4 mini. This is obviously available only in the paid model, but it gives you significant amount of advantage. The last sort of improvement here is better image generation. So what was happening earlier was जब आप image, and obviously now everybody must have seen the Ghibli portraits etc, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. What is happening now is कि पहले जब आप चैट GPT को बोलते थे कि मेरे लिए कोई बैनर बनाना है और उसके अंदर एक टेक्स्ट डालना है, the text used to be all garbled, right? Now if I want to make an image, it will make the text inside the image proper. Let's try. I want to make an advertisement for chamomile tea which has the banner that this helps you sleep and never get up. A little bit of dark humor there, but the point is pehle the image would not have come up with detailed text, so this, but the text now will come accurate in the image. So in terms of generating your social media posts, in terms of generating banners, or sending reminders, making your newsletters more attractive, sending a WhatsApp post, you don't need to now design a poster. Canva, a lot of the work can be done actually here, and you will see most of the text comes accurate, which was not the case earlier. Any sort of questions still here? Obviously it's come up with 2 output, but this is an edition which just came back 1 month. It's the same time when the Ghibli portraits etc came. Obviously now it's saying it yes, okay, I'd like to. So obviously I think it did not understand the dark humor and said कि नहीं ऐसी कौन सी चाय है, which will not help you get up eventually. But that being said, so you can change the color theme etc, experiment with various things. So generating anything, so you have an internal magazine etc, all of the images can be generated here with the text in the post itself. With that being said, we've covered what has been done. Now let's move on to the practical use cases on what we've done. One of the biggest use, and let the image get generated, till then I'll move on to the next point. We are going to explore basically 5 use cases, and one of the first use cases, custom GPTs. Now again, this is limited to the paid plan, or if you're using Gemini, up to you, it's called GEMS. What custom GPT does is, it is like a GPT which you have incubated for yourself. उसकी एक ही specific instruction है. Now let's see how we can use it. I am a business owner and I have to generate POs, right? अब ये POs का जो फॉर्मेट है मेरे पास, जो मेरा वेंडर है उसने बोला हुआ है कि the PO needs to be in this format only, कि ये PDF है इसी फॉर्मेट में होना है. So every time I have to generate it, I have to generate it in that format, right? So what I do is, first step, oh by the way, here's your brand advertisement. Just as a sort of a midway feedback so that I know nobody slept, were most of you aware that the text is now accurate within the images and can be used for, sort of banners, etc?
For me, it's new.
Sorry?
For me, it's new. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, so now the accuracy actually helps in generating images with the text interspersed between them. Now moving on to custom GPTs. अगर आप chat GPT में जाते हैं, there is something here known as explore GPTs, and then you go to create GPT. Right? Now what is the purpose of the GPTs? GPT is only there for that specific use. Okay, now let's see where we use it from. मेरे पास I have this purchase order template. This has been given to me by my vendor and said, या customer whatever, कि इसी purchase order template में आपको भरना है data, इसी format में आना चाहिए. Now every time I convert it into Word, I fill it up, etc. Sometimes there's an error, field नहीं fill up होती. So what I do is I create a custom GPT. इस GPT का नाम है PO specific PO format creator. इसकी instruction क्या है? I've already put the instruction ready so that we don't waste time. Let's go through the instruction and see what we're trying to tell it to do. इस जीपीटी का काम है इस पीओ को इसी फॉर्मेट में करना है जो परचेज टेम्पलेट अटैच्ड है, डू नॉट डिविएट एट ऑल, एंड दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन इज रिपीटेबल. सो मतलब मैंने एक बार ये बना दिया, आई डोंट हैव टू एवरी टाइम पुट दैट इंस्ट्रक्शन इन जीपीटी. मैं डेटा प्रोवाइड करूंगा एंड आई हैव आल्सो पुट द इंस्ट्रक्शन कि अगर कोई पीओ का डेटा नहीं आया है तो यूज़र से पूछो कि वो डेटा आपने नहीं दिया है. डू नॉट एज्यूम, सो दैट हेलुसिनेट ना करें. आउटपुट को वर्ड फॉर्मेट में देना है विद द एग्जैक्ट सेम स्पेसिफिकेशन एज पर द पीओ इन द पीडीएफ. और मैं नीचे जाके यहाँ पे अपलोड फाइल्स में उस पीओ का फॉर्मेट अटैच कर देता हूँ. Now we want to try out this PO and let's I want to create a PO for my vendor and I will be liberally using someone's participant's name here just to keep it slightly interesting. So I'm going to use Ashok Sharur sir's name here. I want to create Sora, and I'm assuming obviously sir would have a nice Birkin bag which I can actually gift my wife. So now ideally what should have happened is कि ये सारी information मैंने भी उसको दी नहीं है, right? Now what I can do is I can easily enter this information, right, from an email. So मेरे को email आया हुआ है कि please generate a PO with this format. मैं email की body को सीधे copy करके I can just paste it over here. Since I don't have it, I'll just say generate from dummy data because we want to see what is the final output. So now it has generated the dummy data. Now it has said I will generate the Word version of this PO in the same exact format of your PDF template. It is generated during, okay. Now would you like me to export? Yes, I want the Word format. Sorry, I'll just create this. Anyone with link can use. Let's just try again because it was in test and development mode. Let's see the GPT here and see it. Using dummy data, generate a sample view. Use any data. So this can actually work for any sort of a document which you have where you need the yes export in. This can be used for any data, any format where you are repetitively using the data. It can also be used for your teams. Sometimes you want to give this format to your team so that they maintain consistency. Sorry, I don't know why it's not downloading right now. It ideally should have. Or I can just basically it ideally should just generate the document file and provide the sample purchase order in the format which has come in the PDF. I think it's just acting up right now, but theoretically this is what the use case is. I don't know why it's not working, but without the error it would export the Word format in the same exact data, and this allows you to sort of generate repetitive documents with that specific information. So now PO, the specific GPTs are not just limited to this, they can be limited to anything. For example, I can generate a PO which extracts only specific information such as कि मेरी balance sheet से give me what is the employee cost over a particular month. So all of these cases can be just automated using the PO. Let's go back to the next use case. Now the second aspect is sometimes I get raw Excel data from my Tally or my CRM. And obviously I've covered this before, but I just want to take it one step further and use GPT's own intelligence on how to interpret it, right? Now I have some data which I have received from my accounting, which is, for example, sample accounting data, which has come from my OEM, my Tally, etc. I take ChatGPT and I just open a fresh conversation. Now I will upload this file. And I want a dashboard which helps me understand what is going on in my accounting quickly. What all does this dashboard have? I will just put this prompt over here. This prompt is also generated by ChatGPT only. मेरे को sales sheet से sales trend चाहिए etc. Now quickly once I get this Excel data, I can just tell GPT कि ये I need these things. I can store this. This is a CEO level insight summary. I can see the database with the dashboard immediately here. Show me the visualization of sales trend here. Now these are dynamic dashboards. I can even change the color etc. And I can ask further questions, download it and show it in and make it into an interactive chart also. Similarly, I can even say what other trend, now make a dashboard which I can use on my computer by entering this Excel every time. Now this is a very interesting thing. I can tell it ki make a dashboard and it will give me a small file, right? Sorry, it's doing the code, but it can give me a small file how I can repeatedly use, or I can just create a custom GPT which will always generate this sales trend data, and also I can talk to the data and get further insights. For example, receivable aging buckets. The best use for this, and I wanted to sort of cover in the tally, I'll quickly go through the rest of the use cases, is कि tally का raw data extract करके I can just put it over here and tell me give me the receivable aging bucket etc. This covers the second use case. So any raw data that you get, you can just put it here, tell the visualization to be done here, and if you don't know what kind of visualization is there, the best question to ask GPT is ki I am the CEO, I am the business owner, tell me what all data is important for me to analyze. It will give you that, and then you can explore further. And data can be in any format, you don't have to worry about the format at all. We've covered Notebook LM for RAG cases. I just wanted to cover a simple another case. For example, for reconciliation of two data sets. Often we get queries from accountants, or even during regular flows, is that how do we have two Excel files. I want to analyze those two Excel files and find out the differences. So here I have some records which are in my books, or here I have some records which are with my vendors, and I want to quickly reconcile them. I will paste these, I will just upload these files here, and I will give them the prompt. There are two samples here. What it will do is it will quickly reconcile both of them and give me. Now this is again reiterating to what I said about the AI first approach. Small reconciliations like these sometimes take a lot of time. The turnaround time becomes very difficult. This allows you to just quickly hasten that process, ask the relevant questions and get the insight. The data can be in any format. Your prompt needs to be proper. For example, here I have the report, exact match, amount, mismatch, etc. Now this has multiple use cases. Your vendor accounts, your customer accounts, automating you want to check कि मैंने इतने bills लिए हुए हैं. You can put the bills का Excel from Tally and put your 2B and say कि which all bills have come in GST. Quickly check yourself and then dispatch the amounts etc. And I can ask it further is then, for example, what is the total amount of mismatch? The AI first approach is to ensure that all data gets processed here. The difference for mismatch invoice is 60,000. I could have done this in Excel, I could have used formulas etc. But this approach yields and augurs very quickly. Any questions still here? Any insights, any questions where I can add? There was another use case which I have seen a lot of vendors and so a lot of ISODA members struggle with, and a lot of clients struggle with, is that if data comes up messy, for example, there is a report which has come up in a very messy format and I'm unable to improve it, मैं Excel में बैठ के उसको बिल्कुल सही करूँगा. It makes more sense to just get that messy report. For example, here is a messy OEM license report, right? And I will give it this. I have an OEM license report. The data has merged rows, inconsistent column names, etc. I want it in the specific format. So I can just put this and जो भी वो messy report आई हो, it will organize it into a simple format and give it to me, and then this process becomes automated. आप इसको custom GPT बना लीजिए, you can buy the custom GPT for your team and then tell them कि ये custom GPT है, always put the data here, and ये messy data clean data बन गया. So with this, the most of the use cases in terms of what we wanted to discuss are done. If we have time and I wanted to show another use case in terms of how to extract data from Tally for management dashboards. Quick, from basically Excel will directly link to Tally, extract the data, show you a heat map which can be used for management reports and extracting further reports. If there is time, would participants like to cover that, because I think you're running out.
How long will it take?
So I think just 5 minutes, or I can
So
probably.
then do it. Let's do it.
I'll just stop the screen share from here and we share from the other side. This is obviously, and this is something which we've used Tally only, sorry, GPT and AI only to analyze. Is what we've been able to do is that this sheet allows us to extract data directly from Tally by running basic VBA code. I'd be happy to share this sheet. It's not like some proprietary code. If you open Tally, it can pull the data by just pressing this button, and then process the data by pressing this button. I've already done the same. What kind of reports it can generate is, it can generate all types of PNL, where all your expenses have been posted, etc. Each party name, etc. The most interesting report here is something which we've been able to come up. It's a heat map. What this does is it shows you, and if you can see clearly, it shows you कि हर ledger में or whatever expense item I have, how much percentage has been booked in each month, and if there is a spike in a particular month, it automatically highlights it by the color. And the whole process to extract this data from Tally takes literally 5, not even 5, it will take literally 2 minutes, because all it requires is the Tally to be open on one side and Excel to extract the data on one side. So for example, I can check my labor charges, my custom duty, any other charges. I can see that in conveyance expenses, 20% have been booked in a particular month, May. This allows me to reach out to my accounts team or my sales team and ask you why this expense is high. And this doesn't require any modification. It just requires a basic TDL. That TDL is open source. I'd be happy to share it in a mail for all benefits of all the members. And it allows you to, all the data can be extracted, any type of report can be extracted, and it can be modified to a particular month, etc. Once I have this report, I can even just take this report of a particular period and say कि let me just copy this and make it easy. ये मैंने report ऐसे copy करी, and I can just straight away go to so I quickly get insights here. So my turnaround time in terms of getting the data from Tally and analyzing them reduces. It does not require any external intervention. You are the owner of the data on your computer. You can analyze it quickly, prepare dashboards, etc. This Excel pulls it. If there's any change in Tally, it will pull it again by running the VBA. And all of this has been thanks to ChatGPT, which we've been able to use. And I think for people who are using Tally, it becomes sometimes a challenge to be able to attract key insights, which this allows you to do at a voucher level and a trial level. It gives you an accessibility which I personally as an accountant have not seen previously. And all of this through a simple TDL, which just gives you access to certain additional functionalities, and which again is open source. And with that being said, I just want to thank everyone for the time. I'm opening it to questions, discussions, any additional insights I can help or share.
Hi, Dhruv. Good evening. Sanjay here.
Hi, good evening. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah. So I have renewals of last year, which is almost about 60% of the business, and we have got 4, 5 divisions. And how to get the renewal data of different customers on our AI mode, and how
Right.
to get an output. I have it on an Excel sheet.
Right.
So how do I get an output or get a summarize as to what we should do or what we should not do?
Uh, so I'll just before I answer, so on the chat window, TDL and the Excel file I'll share in a comprehensive mail with instructions on how to use it. Please feel free to use, or I'll upload a YouTube video. Coming back to your question, sir, it is so the whole thing, the whole concept I wanted to explain through this session was that there is no pre-preparation that you need to do. Whatever format you have the data in, okay. My suggestion, you upload it, a sample of that, a sliver of that, maybe just for a month, upload it on ChatGPT, say I need some key insights including this, help me provide those insights. It will walk you through the entire process yourself.
Okay. So I should use ChatGPT 4.0, which you mentioned, right?
ChatGPT 4.0, and on that upload the file. See, for basic data analysis, 4.0 is a I'm sorry, is a sorry for basic analysis, ChatGPT 4.0 is a very capable model. The other models which I was recommending are for complex queries where maybe you need to draft a SOP, more text-based things. For basic analysis, 4.0 is pretty self-sufficient. You will see that it will walk you through the process by yourself.
Okay.
See, data becoming public is an issue. So now in that sense, what you can do is, if you have access to Google Workspace, you can use Google Gemini, because Google Gemini, when used in Google Workspace, has a security standard which does not allow it to share data for any training purposes. So
Okay.
but with 4.0, yes, there is definitely a
Risk of data going off.
yeah, that goes without saying, sir. But in Gemini, that spec is there. I'm forgetting the name of the exact security specification. That then protects your data, because then that's enterprise grade security.
Okay. Great. Fine. That's all. That was my clarification. Thank
I think that answers Hiren sir's question on the chat also. Any other insight, any other question? Would love some feedback or some practical use cases where you're struggling, or if you've been able to explore something which can help us explore the tools better. We would be happy to hear it. I'm not getting any questions on the chat also. I have a question from Ravi Kumar, sir. Will Tally or other accounting software bring these AI tools? I think, sir, in one way or the other, they're under process. They will come soon, which will allow you to plug, they'll maybe, which will allow you to sort of plug data into, allow the LLM to plug data into Tally securely. Till that time, these tools don't come. We still have the tools. It's just one step is extra, which is using the Excel file. Otherwise, there will be tools in the future which allow you to completely integrate. For example, Google Sheets already has analysis. You can just go and use the function AI. जैसे आप sum use करते हैं, you can just use is equal to AI, and you can analyze data in Google Sheets. So these things are coming. Excel Copilot in Excel or Word, all of these tools are there, and they will keep getting sophisticated. My whole objective here was to just explain that an AI first approach to all problems will augur well. That's the thing. Any data you have, any problem you have, think of it in terms of how I can. The thought process should start with the using of the AI. That was my suggestion. I think there'll be a recording. Samina ma'am can answer. There'll be a recording uploaded on YouTube or not. So can I upload the tally data directly, sir? Parsivan sir. Sir, tally data ना जो export होता है, it exports either in Excel or it will export in a JSON format. Abhi right now, I think the best way would be to do through Excel and then upload it on any LLM that you need. I think that will be the most convenient method. The rest of the method might be slightly inconvenient right now. You can't just dump the tally data there because वो encrypted होता है, so you can't get access to that, if that was the question.
How safe is the data? I mean, when
I have repeated that in ChatGPT it will be used for training purposes. right? There are ChatGPT teams and enterprise edition where the data cannot be used for training purposes, where it remains, siloed. Same for Azure, same for Google Gemini in Workspace. So if you take it through the business logins, I don't think the data is you're worried. You should be worried about the data. But if you take it through the retail logins, then yes, I think it's used for training data. One way which I've seen people using it is कि आप अपना data जो basic है, right, उसकी structure दे के ही you can do all the execution on, run an Excel VBA code or something, or you can just tell it कि this is the structure of my data, just give it the column headings and say कि how should I now search for this, search for that. But obviously that will involve more effort. It won't be as intuitive as this one. I hope I was able to answer the question, sir. And if that's any other questions, Samina ma'am, if not, then I think we're out of time. We can end the session.
Yes, sir. Actually, there's no questions.
Okay.
Thanks,
So we
Dhruv.
can, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your session.
This is a
Their
question.
voices, yeah. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, any questions?
Yeah, yes, sir. No, sir. No questions. Thanks for the session, sir. So
Okay.
it was a wonderful session.
And thank you, Dhruv.
Thanks, Dhruv.
Thanks,
Thanks, Dhruv.
everyone. Yeah, bye.